Well, welcome back to another Wednesday whiskey review from your boys, the Buffalo Happy Hour. We are back to whiskey.
Let's
go,
dude.
Finally, about
time. I know.
Honestly, tequila was fun, but we're not no tequila experts, and that was a little bit tough.
What's crazy, though, is how much we learned in those small tidbit reviews, because now people are already asking us questions about tequila, and I'm just like, bro, just scan the nom, and you'll get all the info you need. And like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, dude, it all starts with the nom.
Yeah, hell yeah. But like, what I realized drinking tequila is that the tequila that I liked the most was the closest to whiskey. So I actually just like whiskey and things that taste like whiskey. That's what I'm getting at here.
So speaking of, we got a new one here for you to try, which is Clyde Mays Rye. So Clyde Mays, if you have not already heard, has been on our show before. We also just interviewed them. So if you want to learn more about their story, the ins and outs, and all the crazy tales behind them, feel free to check out that.
Tune in this Friday. It's coming out this Friday.
Yeah. Watch the interview. Shout out to Addie's. Thanks for having us. We basically use your tasting room. What else is new? So that leads us into this week's sponsor, which is Addie's. So Addie's, thank you so much for your continued support. Addie's located on Transit Road in Williamsville. They have an in-house wine sommelier, as well as a ton of distributors that come in and help move all the SKUs, but also a very knowledgeable staff to educate you on those SKUs to make sure that you are in the know of what you are buying before you leave the store. If you have a question on inventory and or want something shipped to you if you are within the state of New York, they have an app, the Addie's app, which is on the Apple App Store and the Google Playground Play Store. So download the Addie's app, check their inventory, and ship things to you. So, Derek, Clyde Mays, other than being a grunt and an absolute savage when it comes to distilling whiskey.
Kind of an attractive-looking dude, too.
Kind of started as moonshine, and then it basically was just a better version of moonshine and made a whiskey, Alabama style, basically just did everything humanly possible to support himself and his family and his patrons all around. So since 1946, they've been making this wonderful juice. We should give it a little pour and dive into label branding.
So label branding, this is a cool story. So when we interviewed him, we only got to try the Alabama style whiskey, which was super cool, very tasty. It had a great story to that as well, based off of how they can't really call it actual bourbon because of a little bit of apple extract added to it. And, sorry, I kind of didn't pour you a lot there, talking a little bit. So we did that one, and then we also did the rye, right? No, we didn't. Which one? We had the single.
No, that was at the end. We had
just that one. We just had the Alabama style, and we talked about the single barrel.
We talked about the others.
Yeah. So this one, what's cool about this, which kind of segues us into the label branding, is everyone knows that rye, for the most part, for some reason, is somewhat green on the bottle. Don't really know why that started or what that is. Rye grain isn't green, so I don't know how that came to be. But Clyde Mays wanted to be a little bit different when it came to labeling their rye whiskey instead of just putting a green label on there. So the story behind this is when Clyde May served time in federal prison for moonshining when he was arrested, the color of the walls in the prison were actually this. So it was this white cream type top to it, and the bottom of the wall was green. So that's where they brought in some of that history element back into labeling the bottle. And then also his appearance ticket is all the font that you see down here that says non-chill filtered 4-year-old. That's the font from the appearance ticket. So they made something that could have been very basic and turned it into something Clyde Mays specific, which is sick.
Yes. And all of their bottles are like that.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend checking them out and diving into their brand. They are also working on something down in the wonderful state of Alabama, which is a massive new distillery. So cheers to you guys. That is super exciting. Yeah. And we're excited to continue supporting all the products, all the SKUs, further broadcasting the story and helping you guys grow. Yeah. So thank you for everything.
So like Mike was saying, we did interview L.C. May, who is, you like how I added a little Alabama twang to that? L.C. May.
Yeah.
We interviewed him, who is the grandson of the actual moonshiner that this is made off of. So check that out on Friday. If you're listening to this at a later date, go on our channel and search Clyde May interview because it was insanely good. And
It was.
a lot of content in there. So label branding, I mean, just from that story alone, how they integrated every aspect of that, going A++ check.
I agree. A++ check. I agree.
Okay,
Nose.
This is a 95.5 rye and malted barley, which is pretty typical. They do source currently from MGP, just so you know.
I like it, though. Working with MGP, from their standpoint, they're not working specifically off of a mash bill. They're working off a tasting profile.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It's 95.5, but it's sweet.
Well, what do you get on the nose first?
Excitement and wonderful juice.
Be more specific.
Nope, I'm way too thirsty. Basically just the rye and the black pepper.
You're getting kind of like a little sweet, ripened fruit on it, though, too.
Ripened fruit?
Yeah.
Like the skins or the actual fruit?
Like the actual fruit.
No,
Like,
I agree with
yeah.
that. Like if you take overripe fruit, cut it, and make a fruit salad, 100%.
Yeah, kind of like a little bit we talked about it with the Alabama style whiskey, how they add the apple extract, but maybe it's just in my mind. But right now, I'm really smelling like some ripe Granny Smith apples with this.
Have you had a bunch of fruit recently?
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I get the black pepper and the fruit. I get the fruit because it makes sense, but I really just get black pepper and the rye,
Yeah.
which is equally as enticing.
So for the nose, I'm going to give this an A.
I'm fine with that. I agree.
Pretty
I agree.
solid nose.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
It's not overly spicy on the nose. It
No.
doesn't burn. What's the proof on this again?
Yep, 94.
94.
Which is
so
odd.
it doesn't
'Cause
burn
try
at
this.
all. Yeah.
Initial taste. Dive in. I've already enjoyed half my glass. The burn on this is so mellow for a 94 proof. It's almost like unheard of. Really makes no sense to me at all. I think a lot of that credit is due to how it was distilled and handled, but it's just it's a really pleasant rye.
Mm-hmm.
Not over peppery at all on the initial taste, even through the back end, which we'll touch on. But the initial taste is just kind of a smooth, gentle rye. I think a lot of that is because of the barley, and it's just a great sipper.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like sugar honey on this. This is the rye kind of bites you a little bit in the beginning where if you swish it around your mouth, you're getting a lot of burn on like your gums and everything like that.
You got to punch it in the face for it to react.
Yeah.
Like if you just sip it, it's super mellow.
Yeah.
If you swoosh it and then chew it a little bit, let it sit for a half second, then swallow it, then you're going to get that punch of the rye.
Yeah, it comes out right at the initial taste. And then as it's kind of staying in your mouth and it's like going down, pause. You get a lot of that like caramelized honey, sugar, almost kind of like a molasses. Like I'm getting very, like I'm salivating a lot.
It's
with
viscous.
This. Yeah. So I like this for a rye. For me, this rye is very delicious, and I'm not just saying that. This is a very, very well made product. So I'm gonna go A+ on the initial taste. This has to be one of my favorite initial tasting ryes that I've had
Oh, good for you.
in a while.
Yeah, I agree. A+ is fine.
Maybe it's just because I'm washing down the terrible Corona, but this is really good.
It's not that bad.
It's really bad.
It's not. It's room temp.
So A+.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any note.
All right.
Any note it's not super dynamic, but it's a smooth finish, which I like a lot. You get the honey on the back end for me anyways, and with that, it kind of coats your palate to ensure that you're not just fighting an intense burn, but it's such a high hug that it's really not overpowering at all. Honey is the dominating flavor note for me, and I don't really need anything else. Like, it's such an enjoyable product.
Yeah. Yeah, on the back, it's kind of, for me, you're right. I think you hit it on the head where it's not very dynamic, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because the way that this develops when you take your initial sip and it's really coating your entire mouth, and it's kind of almost like a coagulation too a little bit with this, is it's just staying there for a little bit and then it just slowly releases. And that slow release comes with the honey, it comes with a little bit of wood, and it kind of ends for me with like a rye bread at the end.
That's buttered.
Yeah.
Now I want rye toast. Damn it. I love rye toast. I don't know what it is, but once you hit 25, things change. You just appreciate rye bread.
And sourdough. I love sourdough, bro.
Sourdough sandwiches.
I mess with sourdough.
Sourdough sandwiches are a different league, but if we're talking
I wonder, what is sourdough made out of? Can you make whiskey with sourdough?
I think it's dough that just barely went sour. So anyways, the ending note for me, I'm going to go...
I don't think that you're far off, though. That's the problem.
I'm going to go A- on the ending note.
Yeah, I'm going to go B.
The only reason I go A- is because I don't want it to end. And the minus is significance to its ending. And it's sad. I don't want it to go away.
I'm going to go B just because you're not getting a ton of variances between the initial taste and the ending note.
Sure.
So to me, if there was like an ending punch, like a spice or a pepper or something that kind of came out of nowhere that hit you on the back, that would really be interesting to me. So I can't go full crazy with this, but still A+ for the initial taste and B for the ending note. I mean, that's solid. So what do you want to do? B+?
B+.
Okay.
I agree.
Right.
Final rating. Derek, give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1.
87. 87, 91. Incto facto. 89.
Looking at that.
And that's after a non-alcoholic beer
Whoop, whoop.
and a little bit of rye.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Remember to check out Addie's. Download their app. You can pick up a bunch of their SKUs and many more because Clyde Mays is always crushing all the SKUs, and they are damn near everywhere, including Alaska and Hawaii. So swing over to their website, check out to see what state you want them to be in, and lo and behold, they're probably already there.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you support them, their family, and this mission that they're on because it's just fantastic.
Yeah, make sure you go check out the interview we did with them. It'll be linked right up here because it was an awesome interview with the grandson. So go check that out, and we will see you next time. Please remember, everybody, always drink responsibly, be a good person. And Michael,
Do not litter.
we're out.
Thank you.